Navy Pier. Then I went to Norfolk. And I went to Norfolk for advanced diesel training. And I was down there 6 weeks. And down there, we had to go to school, but we had weekends off. And I tried to get a job down there. The streetcar company down there was hiring. And I tried to get a job thinking I could run streetcars on Saturday and Sunday, you know. But they wouldn't take me because I was in school. And they knew when I was out of school, I was on my way. Had I been at the base permanently, I could have got a job running streetcars Saturday and Sunday. But Norfolk was one of the worst places. We got to Norfolk, we didn't even get a free Coke at the USOs. We had to pay a nickel for the Coke at the USOs. That was Norfolk. And people down there had signs, keep off the lawn, Navy and something. They classed the Navy men as bums down there. Let's say sailors and somebody keep off the lawn. Well, Norfolk was a Navy town. And from Norfolk, we took the train down to Tampa, Florida, to pick up our ship. So that was another 3 or 4 weeks down there, loading up stuff on the ship and taking it over to New Orleans to get it, what the hell they call it, demagnetized or something. They put cables all over the thing and set it over there. But we weren't on it. We had to get off when they did that. So we had liberty in New Orleans. Tampa, we were in Tampa 3 or 4 weeks, loading the ship and then taking it on our shakedown cruise. We went to Bermuda on our shakedown cruise. We went up to Bermuda and we had liberty in Bermuda. We got off and went to see Bermuda. Get used to running it and making sure everything was all right. That's the first trip we took. We took that before we went to New Orleans. After we come back from that, then we went to New Orleans and got demagnetized, and then we were out. We were in the Navy then. We went out. We went up from there. We went up to Norfolk, and then we took out our first convoy to Africa. We went to Oran, Africa, and we had Christmas. Matter of fact, it was Christmas. So I was in a whole year. I went in December 13th, and we spent that next Christmas in Oran. So I was in a year before we really did anything for the Navy. So I had a whole year of training. It was a Destroyer Escort, DE 769 in Neal A Scott. I was engineer. I had gotten to 2nd class, and I was in charge of the engine room on my 4 hours. We were 4 hours on, 8 hours off, 4 hours on, 8 hours off. I was in charge of the engine room. I had one guy under me on the engine room. There were 2 of us. But all we did was wipe up the oil on the ship when it was spilling out and keep things clean and watch our signals. Sometimes we'd have to turn our engines off, and sometimes we'd turn them on. When we were going with a convoy, there were a lot of times we turned our engines off because they only needed, well, we had 2 engines there, maybe we'd turn one off. We had 2 engines, we had 3 General Motors diesel engines, 16-cylinder. 2 of them were 16 cylinders, one was an 8-cylinder. One of them just ran a generator for the ship's power, and the other 2 ran the ship. Well, they ran generators that ran the propellers, but they were electric. They were diesel electric is what they were. DE, diesel electric. You'd have to change oil. We ran oil all the time through centrifuges and stuff. When your engine was down, we'd take the oil from that engine and run it through. I'd open up valves and close valves around and take readings every hour on gauges. Oh, I missed something in there. I missed going to the Navy Yard. We were going into the Navy Yard anyhow, and we had to discharge all our ammunition. And they shut off all our depth charges. And man, somebody up there missed the depths that they set them for. And that wouldn't come down, and boy, I mean, when it went off, it sounded like it hit the side of the ship. And all the gauges were up there, got the glass knocked out of them. They come down and blew up so close to the, I was in number 3 engine room. I was in the back one. And it was so close to the back that it broke all the glasses and cracked one of the struts on the propeller shaft on the rear end. So then when we went into the Navy Yard, they had to fix that. The only time we were in any danger was when we came through the Straits of Gibraltar, out of the Mediterranean. We come through with 55 ships in a convoy, 5 in a row. 3 of us laid them out. German sub got in between us somehow. Got in between us. Either they laid on the ground, laid on the bottom, or snuck in somehow and blew up 2 ships out of the first row. They didn't blow up any Navy ships, but they blew up two ships of the convoy. I was sitting on the prow of the ship watching where we were going. No, I was on a fantail. I was on the back. I looked back and I saw the smoke going up. 2 ships went down. We hunted for them from about 5 o'clock on until about midnight. But we dropped depth charges several times, thinking he might have been there, but we didn't know. But the next day we did get word from Gibraltar that said nice hunting. That we didn't get no official star for it or anything in our ribbons. Well, it was after Christmas in '44. Yeah, because I went in '43, just before Christmas. And like I say, we had our Christmas dinner over in Oran. So it was after Christmas of '44, somewhere probably between Christmas and maybe it was New Year's, I don't know. They were Liberty ships, all Liberty ships. Cargo, all cargo. Took cargo over. See, we were still fighting in Africa at that time. That's when Patton, I guess Patton was going after the Germans. That's when the Germans come across Africa, and then we chased them back. Patton and them chased them back. It was Rommel, I guess, Rommel from Germany, the Desert Rat. He was called, we called him the Desert Rat. But he ran all the way across Africa, but then Patton chased them all the way back and up into, was it up into Sicily or someplace over there? Patton went up there and kept chasing them. Our ships, the division I was in, went up to Newfoundland. That's when they had 30 ships crossing, trying to stop the war was practically over then. They had 30 ships trying to stop the German subs from getting away from Germany.